Hi there, I'm Marcus Hutzel, and that wooden backdrop back there is a Shiplap wall, and it's the newest upgrade to my home office because, hang on, I think it's important in this day and age to make sure that your view to the rest of the world, that is the view of either your home office, your office at work, your YouTube studio background, I think it's important that we make these spaces as clean and professional as they can be. Take the view you're looking at right now. Again, this is me in my home office. It's a fairly small space, but I've made the absolute best of it. And whether it's a recorded video or a real-time video call using, Zoom, Skype, Teams, all of those platforms, we have the ability to make it better. Because trust me, people notice. Even in some of my old videos, you can see some of my pants hanging up in the background. Yes, those things back there, they're me pants, me pantaloons, dungarees hanging up on the wall because I didn't notice. And even in some of those old videos, there's schmutz on the floor, there's some cat toys. So sometimes I wasn't even paying much attention to my own background. Nobody's perfect. So what you're seeing right now, the background behind me, some of it's planned, some of it has been upgraded, and some of it I just can't change because of the limited space in my home. But I made it the best it can be for this camera view. And I spent some time in the garage building that wall you see behind me. I wanted something to add some, richness to my home office and to my virtual office as well. And so far, I'm really liking it. And changing your office or even just what the camera sees doesn't always take a lot of money to do. It really just means paying attention to your background. Again, cleaning up the clothing, the cat toys, the random Amazon boxes, and making sure that someone on the other end of the video call doesn't see what you don't want them to see. Like that coffee cup that's been sitting over there for, a week. Hang on. Or your unmentionables, clean or otherwise. Because, and I'll tell you a little secret here, all these bins and boxes on this shelf behind me, that's actually most of my clothing. Socks, shirts, more shirts, a lot more socks, and maybe, just one of them has some unmentionables. And maybe it doesn't. Think of your office as a movie set and build around your camera view. And I'm just not one of those virtual background guys. I know that a lot of the virtual meeting platforms have done a lot to be able to isolate you and put a virtual background behind you and place you in some sort of standardized corporate office, which is important for continuity. Or, they can make you look like you're on a beach or on top of a mountain, but I just don't like that for myself. Plus, my home office already had a lot of different things that kind of made it busy back there and hard for those platforms to be able to try to remove. I just prefer spending time to make my physical environment look great. That way I don't need a virtual background. So again, I wanted to make my home office look a lot more something, a lot more rich and full and purposeful. Because actually, I didn't like the original color of the walls. Hang on, let me turn on some lights and I'll show you. Because you see, the color of my office walls are actually this, pastel yellow color. And the color by itself is actually quite nice and light and airy. The problem is, it was too close for me to my own skin tone. And so when it was over here, when all this wall was that pastel yellow, when I was at the other camera view, my skin tone kind of blended into that wall and I just didn't like it. And there just wasn't enough contrast between me and the pastel yellow wall. So I changed it. Let's go back to this other view. Unfortunately, I had to compensate for that mostly by controlling all of the light in my office. And to do that, I had to cover all the windows completely to stop the sunlight from coming in. And I had to add a lot of colored light to the background and wash that wall in color to hide the fact that it was yellow. And it looked good, but I just got tired of doing that all the time. And because, sometimes I want to have the windows open and see the outside world a little bit and still have a virtual meeting. But with a lot of sunlight coming in, it was just impossible to hide the fact that it was a yellow wall. So I asked my wife if I could paint the wall. She said no. Then I asked her if I could just cover it up, ensuring her that I could remove anything that I put up there relatively quickly. And somehow she said okay. So I built myself a good old-fashioned shiplap wall. Shiplap. All that rough seemingly random wood in the background. It's called Shiplap. That's just what it's called. I didn't make it up. I think it's French for a bunch of old wood that you don't know what to do with, so you nail it to a surface and call it a wall. Either way, I'm really happy with the way mine turned out, and I didn't have to paint the wall. Here, let's take a look. So it really is just a bunch of old random lumber that I found and stained different colors and mounted a little differently than most people and created this rustic and definitely unique design. I made these a bit differently because I didn't mount everything really directly to the wall to begin with, so come with me to the garage and I'll show you how I made these to make them a little more modular. Okay, this is not the garage. I just thought I would sit here and narrate for you while I show you real quick how I made this. And you can make something like this for fairly little money. I got most of the wood either from my garage or from the scrap pile at Home Depot. And I got some of it from the cull wood pile. The cull wood pile is the wood that they've deemed not good enough to sell at full price, so they put a purple paint mark on it and mark it down 70%. So I found a bunch of different pieces of wood in the cull wood and only paid the remaining 30%. And I got some old pallets from behind my office at work that were available. Now, pallet wood's a bit hard to work with because a lot of the time the nails they use in pallets are quite strong, and it took me a while to disassemble the pallets. And some pallet wood is pretty rough, and it can take longer and take more stain to do them as well. It's just rough and they eat up stain. It was actually just much easier using most of my own scrap wood that I had in the garage and from the scrap piles and cull wood piles from Home Depot. Where I decided to spend my money on this project was for two 4-foot by 8-foot sheets of plywood, about 1/3 to 1/2 an inch from Home Depot. And I needed plywood because I decided to build my shiplap wall in 2-foot by 4-foot modules that I could pre-assemble in the garage and then just carry them into my office one by one and install them, rather than nailing each smaller piece of wood directly to the wall. The plywood cost about $35 per sheet, but I needed the plywood because they were the base for each 2-foot by 4-foot module. So I just grabbed 2 sheets of plywood and had Home Depot make 3 cuts in each, giving me 8 2-foot by 4-foot sections that I could easily load in my car. And I had some random cans of stain already, and I spent about $25 on some additional cans of stain to keep it all looking different. And over the course of a few weeks, I'd lay out a bunch of boards, stain in different colors, move on to the next batch, and then leave the previous batch out to dry for a few days. Some of the wood I even burned using a propane blowtorch. That can give you some really interesting designs as well, and you can even stain over the burned boards if you want. Then I took one of my pre-cut 2-foot by 4-foot pieces of plywood, put it on my workbench, and then started laying out some of the boards on that piece of plywood in whatever pattern I thought looked great. And I glued down most of the panels just to ensure that they hold. Then I used nails and some screws to attach each board to the backing plywood. And because each piece of wood was a different thickness, most of the nails poked out the backside of the plywood. So I made sure to grind those down with an angle grinder to take down any sharp edges. I trimmed off the edges of any boards that overhung the backing plywood with a circular saw to make it all nice and tidy. Alright, so building these in modules allows me a few things. Number one, it allows me to just keep the mess out here in the garage and driveway, so it keeps my office clean. 2, it means I can mount this panel to the wall with about 4 screws instead of having 100 holes in the wall from all the nails that attach each board to the piece of plywood. 3, it means I can actually take these off the wall if I ever want, put them in another room, or move them with us if we ever sell the house or move. And lastly, because all the mess is out here, it means I didn't really have to tear down my office and disrupt my daily work that I need to get done in there, whether I'm working from home or just doing virtual meetings or whatever. It means that I could keep my office intact and just walk this thing in, put it on the wall, and be done with it. So modular panels, good way to go. Then I just carried each module into my office and started mounting them on the wall, making sure I found a stud behind the drywall so I could anchor into a wooden structure and not just the drywall itself. And again, I think it turned out great. And now I have a modern, rustic background for all my YouTube videos, virtual calls, and I don't have to put up with that pastel yellow, and I don't have to use a virtual background because my background is way cooler than a virtual one. And I made it, so I'm proud of it. And on the plus side, my wife actually really loves the wall too. And if we ever needed to remove it, we can. And then only have a few holes to patch instead of hundreds of holes from all the individual nails. Fairly simple, and you could do it yourself. You'll just need some wood, some stain, a saw, measuring tape, a drill, some screws, some nails, a hammer, although you won't need any sandpaper. Okay, so you'll need a few tools, but you could do it with just a handsaw and some hammer and nails if you put your mind and some muscle into it. And last but not least, you're going to need some safety glasses, because as Norm Abram always said, there is no more important rule than to wear these. Safety glasses. Good luck, and have fun.